That's right. Yudchet. Yudchet. Here. Yudchet.
Okay, so Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, we are in fourth Perek of Pirke Avoth, mishna18, mishna18, Chai. Al tartzet chaverecha b'shat ka'aso. Do not try to console your friend when he is at the moment that he's angry. You got to find the right moment to do everything. The truth of the matter is timing is everything. Timing is everything. You go at a pressure time and you will lose. Now here is the problem. So fine, so I'll go tomorrow. Why does Mishnah say don't do it? Because you lost your chance. You usually want to be, you want to have an impact. You want to be able to make a movement the first time you talk about it. If you talked about something and the person didn't accept it, then they're going to resist it. Next time you go to them, they'll get defensive. Well, you told me yesterday, I didn't do it. You want to tell me again? Either they feel like you're nagging them, which is never good. People feel you're going to never listen. It just, look at ourselves. When we are different, we don't listen. So the problem over here is he says, don't say it. Right? You can't say, all right, I'll say it. If it doesn't work, I'll do it again. No, you lost it. You lost the opportunity, the chance to be as effective as possible. You lost your efficiency. You lost your efficiency. So it's very important to know the right time. You don't do it at the time that the anger is there. Two people have a problem. Right now that they had the fight, you try to, right? You take him apart. You go, have a cup of coffee, and you start. Especially in this case, when two people, you talk to them separately is much better, right? Because in front of the other people, they don't want to. There's some face that needs to be saved. You have to save face. There was a very famous family for Eretz Israel standards, wealthy family. But the father passed away, and as the case is usually when there is money, before even they bury, Rahman and Islam, the family is already at each other's throats regarding the inheritance. A known family, and because they were wealthy, they helped different yeshivot. So different Rosh Yeshivot tried to get him. It was a little bit of a nasty case. It was really nasty. It was really nasty. So Rav Yamin Berish Finkel, Rosh Yeshiva of Mir, he didn't go to. He waited a couple of days. So he met with each of them separately. He says, look, I know what you're saying makes sense. I know what you feel, is magia lecha. You deserve, you bring fair. I know you're not trying to, you're not a thief over here. I understand you. I see where you're coming from. I just want to tell you, is Shalom worth for you 20%? It's like, yeah, I don't care about the money. I just need to be heard. I just need to hear that this is what I deserve. So he did the same with all five of them. All five of them. Are you willing to, come down 20%? So money doesn't matter. As long as I'm heard that I have a right over here, I'll be mevater. As long as it's vitur. I had a right at one point. So he solved the problem. He solved the problem by two things. First of all, everybody needs to be heard. Truly, we need, it's not always an easy thing, but that is our job to hear. Did I talk about ozen here? What's the shorish of ozen? The word ear. That was nine.
It's a balance.
And you know how I was omed on this? Balance, scale, tarazu. I was omed on this a number of years ago, many years ago. Hashem, my father is fine. Many years ago, My father we were walking in the street, and all of a sudden he would get dizzy. He's like, I'm falling. I'm like, no, you're standing here. No, don't you see I'm on the floor? Like, what are you talking about? The whole thing, I'm upside down. So it would happen, and then it would be a few seconds, and then he would get back to himself. So we went to his general practitioner, and he got very nervous because this could be a nerves issue, nerves and brain. So he sent us to a neurologist. So we went to a neurologist. Neurologist, he hears. So he says, just give me 1 minute. Right? So he sort of did a maneuver. Said, I'm going to do something. Tell me if this happens, if this thing happens. And my father is lying on the bed. So he moved his head in a certain way. And all of a sudden, the bed is turning, I'm falling. I said, okay. I want to tell you, don't worry, you're 100% fine. Because he knew we were nervous as far as brain and this and that. He says, I want you to know you're 100%. Please translate to your father that he's 100%, and then I will explain to you what's going on. So he says, our nerves that feel our balance are in our ears. In the middle ear, there are a lot of nerves that send the message to your brain that tell you if you're standing straight, if you're lying down, if you're crooked, right? All that feeling that you have when you're upside down, it comes from your ears. Now, how does it work? The inner ear is half filled with a secretion, with a certain oily substance. So as you move, the oil touches which nerves, that's how your brain gets the message. So he says, sometimes what happens, he tells me, sometimes what happens, a hair goes in there and lodges. So your father is walking, and all of a sudden the hair touches the wrong nerves. He feels he's upside down, or if he's spinning around because the hair hits a bunch of nerves at the same time, or whatever the case may be. So he says, all we do is we move the head a certain way, we tilt it a certain way that the hair will come out, go into the outer ear or inner, I don't know, not out of the middle here, and it's fine. It's a 30-minute procedure. I'll do it right now, and he did it. And Baruch Hashem, this was probably 16 years ago. No problem since. Isn't that an unbelievable thing? Hashem has created our balance in our ear. The apparatus that feels our balance is in our ears. Chachamim say, if you don't learn to use your ear, you will never have a balanced view of the world. The problem is, and believe me, it takes a little bit of a training. It's not so easy. We think we hear other people. We don't hear them. They talk, and even when we say this is what they said, we hear it and we understand it through our own glasses, through our own perspective. It takes a little bit of coming out of ourselves to hear them. Put yourself in their position. If you're in that position, how would you feel? And it takes a little bit of practice, takes a little bit of patience. But to truly have a balanced view, two people come to you, and they say this and that. You got to hear both of their views. You got to hear that, you know what, I could have been in his position and would have thought like him that I'm right, and I could have been in his position, would have thought that he's right. If you're able to do that, see the point of both of them, you have a good chance of trying to help them, because now you have a balanced view. You use your ozen to make a moznayim, to make a balance out of it, to make a scale out of it. So it's an unbelievable thing Hashem created, and you see, it's not by chance. It's not by chance that Hashem created our balance apparatus in our ear, because that's the Hebrew name, ozen. Ozen. So now, going back to here, B'shat Kaso, he can't. That time he's so passionate about his own thing. He's so passionate about what's bothering him. He can't. Then you need to hear him. Hear him. Let me hear what's bothering you. Let me hear what is bothering you. Right? I don't want to go there, but that's the next case. The next case is, do not give nechama. Do not give nechama when the met is still there. When the met is still there, two things. Number one, he is overwhelmed. Right? He is overwhelmed with practicalities. He's got to bury his dead. The halacha. Daf Yomi, I'm going to say a couple of things. The film right now is in Moed Katan, is going through Halachot Avelut. The Halachot Avelut, unbelievable. Every single detail of them is adjusted to human psyche, and sometimes, psychology. And sometimes we don't get it, and we mess it up. If you follow the halacha and try to understand it, right? The halacha is they're not avel, they don't take off their shoes till the burial happens. Why? Because before that, it's just they can't even grieve yet. They're so overwhelmed with the concept, and they have to have some sort of closure, which Gemara says when the burial happens. They need to take care. There's something that needs to be taken care of now. Now they're overwhelmed. They're not grieving yet. They're not grieving yet. They're overwhelmed with what is going on. What does this mean? What do I do? How do I bury? How do I this? You help them. That moment, what we call Rahman al-Islam, Onen, that moment they need help. They don't need they don't need to be consoled. But another reason is you gotta recognize the pain also. That film from 2 days ago, right? That film from 2 days ago, it says that you cannot wish shalom, you cannot say peace upon you, shalom upon you to an avel within 30 days, and for parents for a year. But he could wish shalom back. The Lord says, why is that? He says, because he could say to people, you're in peace. But we must acknowledge he's not in peace. You send him shalom, it's a joke. A lot of times I see people try to console, and I say, you know what? The gist of the message is don't be sad. Well, that's good if you said something else first. I understand that you're sad. You have a right to be sad. So let's start to work on that's the halachot avelut. Halachot avelut. We recognize your pain. We don't go over there, do nichum avelim, to tell them you don't need to be sad. No, we understand it's painful. We understand it's difficult. We don't give you shalom. We don't say you're in shalom. He's not in shalom. He's not in peace. He's in pain. He's in pain. So that's the second part here. You must recognize one's pain. You must acknowledge it. You must always, I think I said this another time, Morgenstein is a bit of a famous personality in Yerushalayim. He goes to different schools as far as dealing with children. He has seminars and workshops. So he was telling us about his own child. He's originally American. He's been in Israel many, many years. So he said when his son became bar mitzvah, his family from America sent him $10, $18, this and that. So he's a 13-year-old boy. For the first time, he's got some money. I cashed the checks for him, and $45 in Yerushalayim within the religious neighborhood. That's something. That's money. That's chatucha regalim kemet. So he said, I got him a wallet. He put his money there, and he wants to take it to school. Right? Don't take your money to school. What are you going to take all your money to school? It's in your wallet. What are you going to take all your money to school? Well, let's take it to school. That's his thing. Says, I told him he didn't miss. All right, he didn't miss. He took it. A week and a half, he lost his money. Comes home all broken, all sad. I lost my wallet. So he says, what might be the first reaction?
I told you so.
I told you so. He says, but then you are not acknowledging him. You're not being a parent to him. What is the immediate thing on his mind? He is in pain. The first thing should be, I understand he must bother you. I understand he must hurt you. It must be difficult for you. You acknowledge you have a feeling that is valid. You don't invalidate the feeling. It must be hard for you. They could say, we discussed this, I was experienced, so perhaps in the future you take $1 or $2, the rest of it you could leave at home, and if you want to open a bank account. Well, however you want to talk to make this into a positive experience for future, to a learning lesson for future. You don't have to use the words I told you so, but basically say, Abba, has had these type of things, situation in his life. Abba has also lost stuff. So that's what I was telling you. Right? I think children need to hear that again and again. We are not here against you. Automatically, whatever you say, we say no. That's not. It's like we also wanted the same things like you. We've had more experience. That's what they need to hear. That's what they need to hear. So The first thing is you acknowledge the pain. All three of these cases, now we're going to see, each one is what? The first one is passion, the second one is overwhelmed. Right? He's overwhelmed with the process of burial, so not yet. No nechumin yet. Right? Ve'al tish'al lo b'shat nidron. I find this one the trickiest of them all. It says, do not be matir his neder for him while he is making the neder. We have this experience. Somebody comes, he's all hot about an idea. He's all inspired. He's all, I'm going to go do this. And you know it's not going to happen. You know this is not going to happen. Either he won't be able to pull it off, or it just can't be pulled off. It cannot, especially when we are younger. We think we could conquer the world. It doesn't work like this. So there is excitement, warmth to get somewhere. Now you cool them down. So you're never going to be able to do that. You know what's the problem with that? You kill the inspiration. The best thing, if possible, is to direct it. The best thing is to direct it. Now, sometimes you may not be able to do it right then and there. He's too hot. He's too hot. So you see, he's too hot about this idea. It's not going to happen. But if the cost is you're going to really destroy the heat, isn't that such a waste? He's got energy. He's got passion. He's got an idea. If we could make something come out of this, right? You know, you're either a bigger expert or you've had more experience in this area. So turn him to the right. You know what? Wonderful thing. Wonderful thing you want to do daf yomi. I don't want to give examples. People will. Right? Here is a shiur that does amud yomi also. Your idea is that don't do it. And you're never going to be able to do it. Why kill him? You just killed it. You just killed all his excitement. It's not going to happen. What? You know what it entails to learn a daf every day? You ever open the Gemara in your life? All of a sudden you think you could do it. It's never going to happen. Okay, you excuse me for using this example. You know what I mean. But it's very important. I think the third one is a little bit tricky. Because the truth of the matter is, usually I have good intention. He's going to go and he may get hurt. He may get disappointed. So sometimes you have to make a calculated judgment. Sometimes these disappointments are not as bad as we think. That's how people learn. That's how people learn how to deal with problems. That's how people learn how to solve problems. You face a problem, you see, how could I deal with it? Do I go around it, over it, under it? That's how people learn. Sometimes your father always used to say, we were kids, right? Used to send us shopping. So you went and bought rotten oranges. You look at the oranges. So I didn't know yet. I picked orange. I tell my mother why am I there? So next time he does it, how else is he going to learn? So some things are worth it. But sometimes, all right, if the defeat is going to be too shattering for him, and I mean well, so what am I going to do about his excitement? It's tricky. You have to really balance all your choices. The best thing is to cool him down at the cost, or the best thing is to let him go a little bit and then later adjust it later. The best thing is to let him adjust it right now. But it's very important to recognize there is a lot of energy in that excitement. There is a lot of energy in that excitement, and do not destroy it unless you absolutely must. It's a chaval. It's the biggest chaval. And there could be va'al tishtadel lir'oto. The last one is pretty self-explanatory. And do not try to see him b'shat kilkato when he messes up. Why do you have to point out that, you know what, you messed it up, you got it wrong? A lot of times it's better you don't. He doesn't know that you know. If somebody knows that, knows that you know that he messes up, so okay, next time he'll mess up also. But as long as you don't know, they're trying to impress you. And what do you gain by pointing out? I saw you messed up. I saw. What? I saw you were late for tefillah. What did you gain? If you're going to gain something, you're going to talk to him. If you think that is going to have some sort of positive impact, obviously. But just for the fact, I know now. I know I have a piece of information to blackmail you. All right, we'll do the Rambam on it next time. Okay.
What was the transition?